So before we jump into everything, do you want to start off with some listener feedback?
I would love some.
Yeah, definitely.
Brian, you excited?
Do we have more than one?
We
or?
have 3 today.
We have 3?
All right.
You've been saving them up.
I have not. They've just. I think people, for whatever reason, are just now catching up because we have one from Jamie, and we haven't heard from her in a while.
Oh, and Soccer Star.
Soccer Star too? What?
No.
Soccer Girl?
Yeah.
This time they all left their names, so that was nice.
Okay, let's hear it.
Do you want to do Jamie first, or do you want to do
Jamie?
Whatever order you think makes sense.
Want to do?
All right. Well,
Sling them.
I'll start with the most controversial one.
Ooh.
Dear PodcastNV, I know I have the advantage of having had watched the halftime show before I heard your podcast, but Tim's speculation that Drake might come out was brave. I hope he's not invested in crypto for his own sake.
Yeah, Tim, are you?
No.
But yeah, there was no Drake in the halftime
No sign
show.
of Drake. I mean, what would we have expected him to do anyway? Was this going to be like some kind of Wild West shootout or?
Well,
I don't know.
That extreme. I don't know. I would just add some intrigue. Give people something to talk about.
Yeah, it would have got everybody talking, that's for sure.
Yeah. Thank
you. Then they'd say it was like set up,
right.
It's fake. It's not real, right?
Yeah.
I think that's part of what they like, what people like about the situation is they really perceive this as a real thing.
Yeah.
That Drake is just like going for it, or not Drake, the other guy, Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick,
is just going for it.
And XRP is going up, so keep buying.
There we go. That I do have a little bit of that.
Yeah, see? So who wrote that in?
That was a guy named Robert.
Oh, thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that there's a new cryptocurrency called Pweez?
Oh,
No.
God.
With a W?
It's a JD Vance cryptocurrency
that's
over 20 million right now.
No.
Yes.
Or is that
like the meme coin, right?
I was just going to say that.
Like a
Yeah.
moonshot or something. Yeah.
I don't know, man. To me, I look at crypto like it's sports betting without the sports. Like you hope to make some money off it, but
it's all about
never put in more than like you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to diversify. I mean, even if you really I have some friends who really believe that that's like the future, right? And I don't really know if it's not. Like I'm not really a finances guy, but I do think if there's a compelling case for something, try to diversify your investments, but also like don't invest everything so much such that your current life you can't make the things that need to happen right now because that's what's real now.
Yeah,
so you got to plan for what might be too, and for what you're convinced will happen. But to put all of your eggs in that basket to me seems a little too far.
Yeah.
There was a guy who invested in the Haktua coin.
Oh yeah, I heard
he
about that one.
invested $91,000 or something like that into it, and it was up for like an hour or two, or maybe 3, and then it dropped.
Yeah, that went down like the hawk to a girl.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he said it.
Hey, the Radio Envy meme coin is coming out soon.
Yeah, keep an eye on it. An eye out for it. Yeah,
look for it on the Bacon Wave Productions website.
That's right. That's the one.
And Beverly.
Beverly Media.
The Azure Vox coin. It was me that time.
Yes. Winner. All
right. Moving on. We have Dear Podcast NV. I haven't heard Mystical's name since he first came out. What a pull.
Watch yourself.
That was pretty funny that we all got that in the moment. That was really funny. Anyway, this one's from Jamie. Dear Podcast NV. I was listening to the show when you were just talking about future music tech, and the word that Brian was looking for was bone conduction.
Oh, okay.
So now you know.
That sounds right.
Also, pretty funny that Bacon's a closet bro country boy. LMAO. Love Jamie.
He likes one song. That's it.
Take that down to the hot road.
No,
Ride to the can't. Oh.
Don't make me put it on because if I do, it'll be in my head all night, and I'll just be back here. Cruise.
Yeah. Well, you just started it.
Yep.
Nope.
Come on, Florida, Georgia.
Not gonna do
He
it.
had to draw the line.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. Well, we're even now.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to try to pull ahead.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Giggity.
Don't pull it too hard.
I was going to say like Henry the 5th or 8th or whatever.
Hey, we're on a couch.
Pull ahead.
Yeah.
Or like a lot of them.
Yeah. The Queen of Hearts. Off with them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
This is PodcastNV.
All right, so let's get started.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a special guest with us today. Luke Roberts, LJR, is here with us today.
A repeat guest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back.
Brought him back.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me back.
We've scared
Excited
everybody
to be
else
here.
away.
Yeah,
And
you were
just
the
come
only
right
one that
back.
agreed.
Yeah, I'm like just going back to a toxic ex. That's what this is.
Actually, you left something here. You pulled a Costanza. Like
Oh,
you left something here, and you're
come
like, oh,
back
I got to
and
go
get
back
it.
and get
Yeah.
it. While I'm here, I might as well record again.
Was it my dignity?
Damn.
All right. Thanks for joining us, LJR.
I don't think your episode was that bad.
No, it was good.
No, it was great.
good.
I really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. The listeners like
I was
it
like,
too.
that's just such. I couldn't pass it up. It was too. It was just right there, and you know.
So, Luke, tell us more about things and how things are going with you, since we haven't really caught
What
up
have
in a
we
while.
missed? You were
What
here
have we
in
missed?
September.
Wow. Yeah, it was
Last year.
September. So that was about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots happened since then.
Do tell.
So the biggest thing right now is I put a date on actually releasing my album.
Oh, nice.
So that's really exciting. We've got a show. It's going to be at Baltimore Soundstage in Baltimore, which, if you guys aren't familiar, is one of the bigger venues in Baltimore for independent artists. It's about 750 people, 1,000 if they kind of if they open up the back area. We've got a bunch of bands in the bill, and it's taken a lot of work to get all that stuff together. I mean, you guys know, you coordinate tons of artists all the time, right? So it takes a lot of work to get people that A, will respond, and B, are like decent people that you want to have on the show, and then B or C are talented enough, and then D can draw.
Yeah.
You know, because especially with such a big space, you can't just have people that you think are talented or that are good. They have to be willing to really do the promotion.
Yeah,
because we're all in this together in this event. So we're finally like almost all the bands are locked in. We've got one more that we're trying to nail down. We're hoping that'll happen today. But we're making it really sweet for all the bands. We're doing a deal where my company does free video for all the bands.
Nice.
So we'll do like free highlight reels and a couple of full songs for free. And then we have a photographer coming. The photographer, the band would have to pay, individually for that, because she's not like directly part of our team. But the video alone is like a hugely valuable package that they can then use to market. And if we have a really good showing, which I think we will, because all the bands right now are solid bands that draw really well and do promote and are the right type of group for it, then they'll get footage with a lot of people there too. And that's going to help. And obviously a lot of social proof for social media and everything. That's the big thing right now is that show, promoting that. And
the date?
And the date for that is, thank you, May 3rd. Yep. At Baltimore Soundstage. So I'm trying to build out a really compelling light show with synced up lights.
Cool. And
that includes access to the LED display behind the stage. And there's a program that's free called Touch Designer. That's
I saw you talking about that on Instagram.
Yeah. So it's awesome. It's totally free, and it's used for like big art installations at museums to create interactive artwork or just interesting stuff. So it interacts with something in the environment. There's usually some type of sensor, whether it's a microphone or like a sonar sensor or something like that can detect distance, and it uses that as a way to modify the artwork. You can also use an Xbox Kinect to track body motions and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
You can input a camera as well as like a video source, and then modify that video with something else, like a noise input. You can do edge detection and modify that heavily. You can have a microphone input and use that to control, how much edge detection is happening. You can use it to
like a glowing angel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look up Touch Designer tutorials on YouTube, you'll start to see all the different possibilities, and you can literally do anything with this. Like, it's not just, make one of the things I would love to do that I think I'm going to do is set up a mic for the crowd, such that the parts where they sing, there's a light fixture that gets brighter with the volume of the sound, right? That's a very simple thing. I know how to do it. I've already kind of set up something that pulls in a microphone and like does something else with it. And it's easy to do that. Like I set up followed a simple tutorial that took a sphere, and it took the microphone input and used that to modify the shape of the sphere. It added like a certain amount of noise basically. And so every time I would talk into the microphone, it would modify this, the sphere. And so that's obviously very boring. Like it doesn't do anything particular for the show, but something like that would be really dope where, I'm singing.
So it's interactive.
Yeah, and it's modifying, or like the kick drum is modifying the visuals, maybe having like there's a song I have called Rainbow Color Magic, where this track, if we had like a rainbow sort of ghost, like use the edge detection to create sort of a rainbow version of me that follows me, and we turn that on and off with the boom, 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 of the song on the kick drum, that could be a really cool effect that people haven't seen before, right? And that's a camera pointing at me and everybody on the stage. Maybe we do some syncopated dance move or something, right? And then we take that camera and we point it around at the audience, right? And then the people can do dance moves or whatever. Maybe we form like a circle and people just come out and like do, because we'll have a breakdown that song, and so people can come out and kind of just do their thing, and then they're up on the screen with this cool effect, and then we record the show and they're part of it. And that creates just a very different experience that's way more than, you just come out and see a band and like you hope that they're good, but they're also sandwiched in with 5 other bands, and so that's the type of direction I'm trying to go for this.
So how, I have a few questions. One actually related to the lighting. So is the lighting experience specific to your performance?
Yeah.
And it's not for the other bands? You're just kind of like, good luck. We're going to keep you kind of bland looking, and then I come out looking like Rainbow Magic Jesus.
Exactly. Hello, people. Believe in the color of my life.
But you're the headliner.
Yeah, I mean, I am the headliner. It's my album release, I mean, this is where like I would love for there to be a way to do that. And there are some bands. I mean, I'm friends with these people, and so in the future there could be ways to do that. The key thing is that there has to be an easy way to make that coordination happen, where like I already have to have my stuff set up and ready to go, because I can't like try to figure out how to incorporate another band or sync stuff up for them and educate them at the same time,
right? As
I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do to be really compelling.
Yep.
And so once I figure that out, then I can totally like offer more stuff. But also like a lot of bands don't really want to do that, or they don't want to deal with that, and that's okay. Like I don't think that's bad. But I do think it's a great opportunity to stand out, where a lot of bands aren't doing that. You know? So immediately it's going to be like different because nobody else is doing that, especially on like the indie level. And I think a big part of being successful is changing the perception around what you're doing
and the presentation.
Yeah. And so if you present where you're doing things that nobody expects as a local band, they won't see you as a local band.
Yeah.
And that changes how they interact with you, whether they come out to shows, all that kind of stuff. How much they talk about you, right? You create those moments too. People remember those moments, right? Harder to create a truly unique musical moment that people talk about in the same way as, oh my God, there was like there's a naked man running around at the, like that would be more standout than
like Luke, not yet.
Right, exactly.
You still have 3 more songs.
You forgot your loincloth.
I'm so excited.
How, so I have actually some questions about the album. Because these are songs that you've probably had in your back pocket for a long time.
Yeah.
So how did you choose these very specific songs to be on this particular album?
So these songs, they span a really long period of my life, from about 18 years old when I wrote the first one. The actual opening track in the album was 18, to the last one. I don't know if whichever one I wrote last, which I don't remember which one it was right now, is probably about 10 years later.
Okay.
So none of the stuff in the album is like new from the past like couple years. I do have some new stuff. I want to release this next year. Excited about that. That's a different thing. But these songs, I came up with the order of them, and I chose them because I just came up with a big list of all the songs I thought, like, here's what I have, and then here are like my best ones. And I picked my top 12. And then I tried to figure out what order should these be in. And that was, I've always just done it in terms of like a live show and trying to model that off of what's the journey I want to take people on.
Right.
And, when I first, I guess I could change things on the final album since it's not officially released. But
that's
right
a rabbit
now,
hole. That's a rabbit hole, right? Like, I could change it.
Totally. Yeah. And I want to be careful about that.
Yeah.
But
it's like changing settings in a camera.
Exactly, which takes way longer than you think it's going to.
Right before the show.
Yeah.
Jeez, guys.
That was good. That was good.
Thanks.
But yeah, I originally thought that would be the order I'd do the songs in at a show. When I did it at a show in that order, it did not capture the attention of people. It didn't really take them on that journey. And part of that was because there's like a 4-song kind of lull that's like a big slow build. And I grew up as a worship leader in my church. And so I was kind of modeling a lot of this after what we do on worship nights with like the big, huge songs to open that are big and exciting. And then it kind of comes down and you kind of go through this big slow build, the biggest song, and then you end with like a banger, right? Or sometimes you end with like a nostalgic, thoughtful, song.
Yeah.
So that's how I went about choosing the songs. And it was actually a very surreal experience when I realized the order I put them in, because I just tried to order them as a live show. And then when I was trying to figure out what is it saying, what's the message, and what visuals do I want to go along with this, and I started coming up with a sci-fi series idea. I realized that the whole story was like walking through the stages of grief. And I didn't mean that, but I didn't intend for that, but that was definitely the thread of it, which ironically was kind of the story of that. Losing my faith in the way that it was at the time, a lot of my family stuff kind of falling apart as and trying to find myself, all that kind of stuff, trying to hold on to some type of hope throughout all that, and going through that process of accepting the loss of all of that was, it's a complete change of identity and loss of identity. And that is like a whole grief process, and you got to go through it. So that was really, to me, it was almost like a spiritual moment in that, of seeing that, like, oh, maybe I am on the right path. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a lot to write about.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. So do you think that you'll reorder it, or do you think that you'll...
I just thought about that just now. Like I could do that.
Good timing.
Breaking news.
Yeah,
right. Literally.
So I don't know if I will. I probably won't, just because I think it's like, I don't want to change things. And I don't know if it'll make a big difference if I do. But yeah, we'll see. I'll think about it and we'll see.
So what made you pick the Baltimore soundstage?
Yeah, that was one of my other questions. How do you pick the venue?
Yeah, well, actually, I tried going to a number of other venues first, not because I didn't want to do soundstage. I just thought it was maybe too big, and I wasn't sure if we'd be able to draw enough people to make it really work. Our numbers are looking great right now. We've sold like 30 tickets, and we've got over 100 that are committed, and we're asking all of them to bring friends, obviously. So, and most of them are saying yes, which is great.
Nice.
So I'm hoping for like 100 to 150 people just on my part, and 400 feels great in there, so that would be killer. But I went to like Auto Bar. I think that was my first one because it's a great spot. I'd played there before. I didn't have a contact, but I figured they might remember me, and people thought I put on a good show from the feedback I got. So I thought, well, I'll give this a go. And just nobody responded, and I just kept having that happen a couple times at different venues. And I also realized, the best shows that I've had have been at the most like respectable venues that have the biggest kind of names, because your friends and family think to themselves, wow, Luke's doing something really cool, obviously, because he's playing this bigger venue that I know and recognize. That's a big deal. That's where, touring acts come to play that I would go and see, as opposed to like, oh, the Baltimore Clubhouse, super cool spot. I love it. I love the people there. I promoted the hell out of that show, and I got like 24 people to come, but when I played Wrecker in Towson, I got over 100, right? And then this show looks like it's going to be, similar. And I'm getting that response. People are literally saying, wow, you're playing soundstage. Like, I got to make this one, 'cause that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I think that plays a lot into it.
Definitely.
And soundstage is great. And I've never played there before. I thought it'd be better than going back to Wrecker. Although I do want to go back, obviously.
So who are these other bands that are playing?
We've actually got some great people. Do you guys know Transcendent Events? Do you know Kevin Hawk? He's one of the biggest promoters in Baltimore. He's been around for a long, long time.
I'm not to cut in here, but for a second, I am trying to bridge that gap to know more people. I know a bunch of artists in Baltimore, but I don't know a lot of other like agents or influencers or people that, or the venues themselves. I'm slowly but surely bridging that gap. I might need to pick your brain about some places and people to connect with. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, man, and I'm very happy to connect you with him up there. The biggest thing, and it took me forever to learn this, and I did not listen to people for the longest time until I finally just decided to do it one day. The biggest thing is just go to shows.
Yeah,
Just go to shows.
I know.
You know, show up and try to have something to offer. It doesn't have to be very much. I try to offer video because it's so compelling and nobody's really offering
And
awesome
your videos
free
are
video.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it instantly gets me in with all of the promoters because they're like, holy shit, we've got amazing free video.
Mm-hmm.
And all the bands love me. They all repost me. They all credit me. That builds my, credibility. It's just a great way to go in. So even if you just did iPhone video, you got some clips, you know, you tag people like, hey, I shot some stuff. They're going to love you, for that.
Yep. So what about Kevin?
Yeah. So Kevin's great. He's been in the scene for a long time and he's a really positive force. He runs a lot of different events, including StellarCon, Maryland Day, Nerd Prom, Emo Night.
Prom.
Yeah, it's great. So they'll put these themes around these events, and it's a lot of fun. And actually, I shouldn't say that. I mean, I know that they're fun because I've heard about them. I haven't actually been to like the themed events. I've been to mainly like the concerts with the bands and stuff. And he'll put together. So Emo Night's one of those. And so I'll go out and shoot like a bunch of videos, for all the bands and edit them together. And have it done before the end of the night so I can give it to the bands.
Oh, you do it. That's right. You told me that you just like turn them around.
Yeah, and that's part of the wow factor that works really nice.
I forgot about that
and
part.
really makes you stand out,
Yeah.
Again, not as a musician, be like, hey, can you give me opportunities?
Sure. Yeah,
you come in giving value, and then they're like, whoa, this is great, And that's a whole different world. But Kevin is awesome, and we've hung out a couple times, just getting coffee, talking about stuff. And he's got a band. He used to be part of a band called The Henchmen that he ran, and now he's part of.
Name.
It's a good name, right?
That's a good name.
Better than Plunger.
Is that your band name?
That was one of my band names from the past. Yeah.
Nice.
It's
And that
one
just
who
went right down the
plunges.
toilet.
Right?
The
One who
henchman.
plunges.
That's like
That's a good
Turlet.
pun.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Plunger is like the Wet Bandits.
Sometimes you just got to jump in.
Yeah. Just dive right in.
Yeah. I'm excited to announce.
That's right. Plunger. But he's got this band called the Odd Foxes, and they've got a great sound. I think it's got some similarities to the Henchmen, obviously, because they're some similar members, and they're going to be playing.
I'm writing all of this down.
Yeah,
Kevin
they're-
Hawk, Baltimore Henchmen, Odd Foxes.
Yep. So the Henchmen, I don't think they're active right now, but Odd Foxes. Pat Rennie is going to play too. He's a very pop artist, Filipino guy, very tall, taller than me actually. I think because we did a collab together for my YouTube channel, and he's a great dude. He's very positive. He really cares about the scene a lot, and he works really hard to promote his shows, sell tickets and have good communication, which I respect a lot. He doesn't take things personally because I try to be honest about stuff, and sometimes that means there's things that you don't want to hear, right?
Mhm.
And that sucks. But some people take it personally and get mad about it, and some people just recognize hey, you got to do what you got to do, what's best for your show, and that's how he is, And so we were excited to bring him on for this one because we've been talking about doing a show together for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So he takes a lot of inspiration from groups like Jesse McCartney, and he brings in a little bit more. He calls it like a little bit of urban influence into his latest album that's coming out. Pretty soon.
Nice. Cool. Okay.
So the other band that we have is the Whiskey Feathers.
Okay.
So they're up in Baltimore. They're like up
That
and
name
coming.
I think I might have heard before.
Yeah, they're great. They're playing some festivals and stuff. They're getting some great opportunities. And they were suggested to me by my friend John Way, who runs the Baygrass Festival. If you know Baygrass, it's a huge 4,000 person festival that happens in Sandy Point State Park.
Oh, okay.
Every year.
Okay.
It's all bluegrass and stuff like that.
Cool.
And it's a super awesome event. John puts it on with some of his team, and they focus a lot on mental health awareness.
Wow.
And drug overdose prevention.
Mm-hmm.
So they have Narcan training there that they make available, for free.
That's cool.
And Narcan kits that you can take home as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can just have it in your car so that if you're ever in a situation where you see somebody that's overdosing, you can, do something in the situation, and you know what to do. You know how to use it.
Right.
What else is around Baltimore soundstage that you might pop into afterwards to just cool
Power
off?
Plant. So it's part of Power Plant Live. It's like right in the corner.
I know where
and you
that
can
is.
just go like straight into Power Plant. There's a bunch of really fun bars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's like one of those crazy like horse bowls that you can ride and all that kind of stuff, you know. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of great spots to check out right after.
Okay, cool.
So how can people get tickets?
If you go to my website, lukejustinroberts.com, there is a big blue button that says get tickets. So that's the best way. But I'm posting it like all over my social media.
Yeah.
And so, you know, just go to my link in bio anywhere, or, you know, any of the posts and all that kind of stuff, and you'll see the info for it.
If my personal calendar didn't look like syphilis, I would come to your show because it sounds amazing. It really does.
They have medication for
Thanks,
that, Brian.
Right?
Listen, I have all this to manage to make sure it all goes off without a hitch, and then I have my own thing going on. I think I actually have 2 gigs that day that I personally have to do.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's killer.
Yeah,
I totally understand. I never expect any of my musician friends to come.
That's always the worst part, right?
Yeah. It's a bummer, but you know, sometimes they can. You don't want to set yourself up to be disappointed. So you're just like, don't have the expectation.
If you can make it, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got, Bacon?
How many tracks are on the album?
There's 12.
12?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said it was over a span of 10 years?
Yeah, about 10 years that I wrote. And
so we wrote
did all the songs.
one song per year, sometimes more than one.
Thank you for averaging that out for me. I appreciate it.
Probably like groups. Probably like groups. Like
I think it's the other way
a
around.
well,
the reason I ask is you mentioned that there was kind of like a flowing feeling of grief. And I'm curious if that was more in the older stuff and now you're kind of like seeing the light, getting out of that type of thing towards the end of the album, or is it kind of all mixed up in there?
It definitely goes sequentially through.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to really do a deep dive into like when did I write each song to see if I wrote them in that order, because that's a great question. I don't know.
Are you planning on doing a pre-release?
Oh, that's a great question. That would be a lot of fun. I'll think about that. It'll be something to add to my plate, which I have a lot on there, but it's a great idea.
Do you already have though all the songs mixed, mastered, ready to go?
Mine is 2.
Okay.
Because
wow, you are really cutting it down.
I know it's really close. But I knew if I scheduled the date for the show that I would get it all done.
Yep.
So like that was part of the motivation. Like let's schedule the date. So we can just make that happen. You know.
Okay.
I mean, the structure's done. All the basic parts are done. There's just a couple of little like tweaking and tightening up. You know, like there's string parts. I just have to decide which ones to throw out on the last song. That's it.
Now, are you doing some of the mixing or most of the mixing yourself?
I don't do any of the mixing.
Okay.
I produced. Well, my brother Daniel was the producer on it. Daniel John Roberts. I had most of the arrangement stuff in my head, and I had a lot of like demos for everything. And he helped me actually like produce it, and he played all the guitar and bass parts on the album, which was great. Minus Need a Little Lovin', we had a couple parts from my buddy Felix Nieto up at the Hangar Studio in Laurel, and he actually did all the mixing, and we did most of the drums, almost all the drums with Felix. Not at the Hangar. This is before he had that studio, so we did it at Right Way in Baltimore.
The app that you're working on developing, do you have a name for it?
I mean, right now it's just music video auto editor. It's
MVAE.
Well, Hulu and Do You is handy, so maybe there's an acronym in there somewhere.
What is?
I can't believe you haven't heard Hulu and Do You.
No, I have not. Yeah.
It's so, I mean, I know obviously geographically we kind of run in different circles, but I wrote this song during the great quarantine of 2020. And let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Or Bacon, can you pull it up?
Yep, coming up right now.
Wait.
So I wrote it, and my buddy Matt King came up with the chords for it, and it's simple. It's just 4 chords in repetition. And one of the studios that I had predominantly worked out of, we couldn't make the scheduling work. And so I went to another studio called Innovation Station in
with Dave Mallon.
Dave Mallon.
Yeah, I work with him all the time.
Yep. And so he and we put together this 2-song, it's not really an EP, but it was like 2 singles. One was Quarantine Lover, and then the second one is Hulu and Do You. And I wrote a bunch of other like silly, stupid songs. But these 2, came together as the most complete. And so I immediately went in the studio or whenever I could, and we sat there and recorded together. And Dave and we just kind of ran the whole thing together. Which is great. He had all these plugins and stuff that we could play with. And you've seen his spaceship studio.
That's great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's very positive. Like, let's do something cool kind of person.
Yeah, he's got a lot of great ideas. Nope. Come on, buddy. You can do it.
Here we go.
There it is. Crank it, soldier.
Soldier boy.
Hey, how you doing? Are you done yet with your quarantine?
Come here, baby.
If so, I was thinking maybe you'd want to hang out with me.
Dang.
Well, I don't have much, but I have a TV, a couch we can cuddle on, and White Claws to drink. I want to Hulu and Do You.
That's great.
I want to Hulu.
Second verse and the outro is my favorite.
and Do You. Hey, ain't it funny that I have all these channels to stream?
Do you like the selection?
You might think I have money. No, my friends share their passwords with me. All this game that I'm spitting, I hope you understand. I invited you over to tug at my pants. I wanna
Just give it a tug.
All the ad-libs were great. We had a million ideas and we had to like narrow it down to our favorites.
That's the best.
So when I do a live performance, you'll hear this in a second. Hold on.
Can I get a whole
So during a live performance, I'll say, this requires a little bit of audience participation. If you can hear us and you're having a good time, can I get a, oh yeah? And everybody.
Totally. Everybody just goes for it. Amazing.
Ooh.
Tim's just going for it.
Yeah, he is.
And do you, if you get hungry, then just let me know. I wanna Hulu and do you. My mama said that she made a meatloaf.
The meatloaf.
Don't be afraid to just rip off my clothes. Come on, girl.
Come on, girl.
Well, at least till this next episode.
Was it good for you?
Was it good for you?
So we were in the studio and Dave thought that the outro was too short because I immediately went from the buildup of the last chorus to don't be afraid to just rip off my clothes. And so we were sitting there and he was like, you should double that. And he was like, do you have any other lyrics? And I was like, no, like shit. And so I was just sitting there. I was trying to think of like what other embarrassing things could this person be, not recognizing that he's going through, but he's like singing about, right? Like it's embarrassing only from others' perspectives, not from his, because that's like his normal everyday life. And so for whatever reason, I thought of, what was it? It was Starsky and Hutch, right?
No.
No, which one
Wedding
was it?
Crashers.
Was it Wedding Crashers? Oh, yeah, that's right. And Will Ferrell still lives at home.
Hey, Ma!
And,
Hey, Lo!
and I was like,
What's she doing in there?
I was like,
I never know.
I was like, so how do I? So that was my first thought, and I was like, how do I rhyme something with my mom made a meatloaf? And I was like, and I went through several different iterations. I was like, oh, if you get hungry, just let me know. My mom made a meatloaf. I was like, yeah let's do it.
That's perfect.
So we threw that in there. I don't know. That whole experience was wild.
Gold, Jerry.
It was really fun.
Gold, Jerry.
That's the best when you have a song really come together like that.
Yeah. There have been a few experiences where I've written a song and we went into the studio and made adjustments lyrically, either added lyrics or completely like gutted, certain portions of it just to make it more succinct.
So that song was all along your spiritual journey.
That was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
From the great quarantine of 2020.
Indeed.
That's an excellent song.
Wow.
I'm going to have to look that up. Hulu and Do You.
Yeah. And it's handy. Handy. Hulu and Do You.
Ah. Ooh, I see the multiple layers going on here.
That wasn't even intentional, but it's fantastic.
So deep. Yeah.
That's when it was the muse. The muse was speaking through you.
All right.
Yeah, right? When a plan comes together.
Yep. No, that's good. You got some good voices, man.
Oh,
Normally, I'm the guy doing the weird voices that no one expects. So it's nice to know I'm not alone.
No,
it's great to share a couch with you.
Yeah. Oh, you too. All right. Well, thanks for having me, guys. This has been totally awesome.
It's been a blast.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can catch LJR. He'll be performing at Soundstage in Baltimore, Maryland on May 3rd. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. But you can find him on Instagram at Luke Justin Roberts. Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Justin Roberts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to have you, brother.
Yeah, man. Make sure you come back. Tell us how the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. I'd love to. Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right.
This podcast was produced and engineered by Michael Bacon in cooperation with Revelry Media Productions. Video provided by Brian Johnson, also known as Azure Vox. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on our latest episodes. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at PodcastRNV and on TikTok at podcast.nv. Send us your thoughts over email at feedback@podcastnv.com. See you soon.
This is Podcast NV.